Hi all, ignore my Math 140 header on the top of this. We're going to work on multiplying and dividing rational expressions next, which is really only one step up from the simplifying we've been doing, but it still can get a little bit messy. So the base idea here is going to be the same as multiplying and dividing regular fractions, but there's some addition and subtraction within the fraction, so we're going to have to be really careful because in algebra, addition and subtraction always makes things a little bit messier. So we really only need a couple of properties here. We know that to multiply fractions, we just go straight across. And to divide fractions, a over b divided by c over d. We flip and multiply a over b times d over c, which is equal to ad over bc. So that's really all we need to work on. And then we'll just need to be really careful. The big mess tends to come in the simplification. So just to remind you, if we're working with numbers, let that go blurry on us, 2/3 times 3/8, we can multiply straight across. But watch for the opportunity to cancel ahead of time, right? 3 divided by 3 is 1. This works because multiplication and division are inverses. So if we multiply by 3 of something and then we divide by 3, we're going to cancel. The same thing with 2 and 8. So on the top we get 1 times 1, on the bottom we get 1 times 4, and that's our answer. So I really recommend simplifying ahead of time. For division, same idea, but before we start trying to do any canceling, we're going to flip. The only canceling I see that I think I can do here is 3 into 9. So we're going to get 5 times 1 over 3 times 4. And that's how it looks with numbers. So remember, one of my big themes is seeing the simpler problem within the mess. And that's what I want you to think on all of these, is just compare them back up to the problem above. So here we're looking at division. Remember, my first step was to multiply by the reciprocal. Then I look for, since it's multiplication, I can look for any factors that I can remove. So I see an x on the top and the bottom that go away. That just leaves me 1. I also see a y on the top and the bottom, so those go away. And I'm left with 3 times 1 times 1 over 1 times 1, so just 3 for that one. So they look a little wild at first. A lot of them simplify really nicely. Maybe not always quite that nicely, but they do simplify. Okay, so multiplication, we get to just go straight across. But remember, you want to look for that opportunity to simplify before you get too crazy. So I don't immediately see things I can cancel. You might be really tempted to cancel 6's or p's or something like that. None of that is legitimate because the fraction bar means that our big operation is division. But second to that, in the numerator and denominator, is addition subtraction. So addition subtraction doesn't cancel with division. We'd have to rewrite those as multiplication. So you can either cancel out the entire top or bottom, or you can cancel out factors of the top or bottom, but you can't cancel terms. And this is a whole bunch of terms we're looking at. So I'm going to do my best to make some factors that I can try and play with. So I can factor a 6 out of the top of this fraction. And on the bottom, so this is like when you look at factors of numbers, you say 6 is 2 times 3. You could do that here as well if you want. So here, I think I see the same thing happening. So this is good. I can cancel a p plus 2. And I can also cancel a 2. And I'm left with 3 over 1. And then the only other thing I have to deal with is p minus 6 and 6 minus p, and those are really tempting because they're so similar. But I can't cancel now, they're not exactly the same. However, I'm not completely stuck. Remember that you can factor a minus 1 out of something. You don't have to write the 1, but that would change this into a minus 6 plus p. Remember to distribute back in if you're not sure you believe me. The negative times negative makes a positive 6, and then the negative 1 times p makes negative p. And you can even write that in a different order without changing its meaning. Negative 6 plus p is the same as p minus 6. So I can actually do it here as well. P minus 6 does in fact cancel. And that just leaves me with the negative 1 in the bottom and a 1 in the top. So as messy as that looked, on the top I just get 1 times 3 times 1. And on the bottom I get 1 times negative 1. So all that just boils down to negative 3. Okay, it's not always going to simplify that nicely. It's my favorite because you get to do all that canceling. It's rather gratifying. But they often do. In fact, I would say almost all of yours will probably simplify some. So really watch for it. Watch for that p minus 6, 6 minus p business. That's a really good one, and a lot of people don't know what to do with that. So pay attention to those. And really do take to heart that what this is saying is excluding funny values of p that make you divide by 0 or something like that. No matter what you plug into that big ugly fraction multiplication we start with, you should get negative 3. So I think that's kind of impressive. Okay, we'll cut this here and I'll make some separate videos. Thanks for watching.